Hey everyone, welcome back to the Hairstylist Inner Circle. Happy Wednesday. Hope everybody is not just surviving, but thriving in this new world that we are in, with most of you being back to work behind the chair. We probably won't have a huge live crowd today because people are back to work, but I wanted to try and stay as consistent as possible with jumping in here on Wednesdays at noon. And I invited my dear friend, Mary Wilson, to join me today. She has so many great things going on that we wanted to make sure that we brought to all of you, depending on where you are in your career, what it is that you may need as far as getting from putting one foot in front of the other. She has a lot of great things coming up, and including their amazing Wilson products. So most of you have met Mary from our fun hairball that we did, and a lot of you have done her classes with Philip and Mary. They were so generous to make such great offers to us for their brush and comb set and Philip's unique way of cutting hair. So I'm going to bring Mary on. Hey, Mary.
Hi, Elaine. Good morning. Good
How are you? Good. I know, morning for you, right? Mary is lucky enough to be in California. I want to be Mary in my next life. She gets to be in Orange County in the summer, which is like the perfect place in the world weather-wise. Mary, yesterday, I'm doing a model, a dead model of my mannequin head. I'm doing a technique, and she turned out so good. And I was like, it's so hard to take a really awesome picture of a doll head. They're just a doll head with no neck, no bust line, nothing interesting. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take her outside and take a picture of her like she's driving my convertible. So I go outside. Oh my God. It is so stinking humid here right now. And all I can think of is you in Laguna with the breeze blowing, with no mosquitoes, sitting outside, stretching, doing your little yoga. So girlfriend, this time next year, I will be your neighbor somehow, some way. I need to get the hell out of Florida in the summer.
Or maybe
I have to
drive in the RV.
Oh my God. I'm so excited for that. The world has to be normal for me, because I'm like wishing next year to be here before it gets here. And I don't like doing that because I'm 53 now. So I don't like to wish time away ever.
Right.
But this is honestly the first time in my life that I'm like, enough already. Let's get back to something somewhat normal. And I think, as with everything in life, I'm a little bit behind the curve. Like, I think COVID just hit me today. I mean, it's been since March for all of us, but I was so business as usual the entire time. And now I'm like, oh my God, July 1st. Are you kidding me? Is this ever going to end? And then I listened to a really insightful podcast about the second wave, about how we have to prepare for the next big wave, which was really made me feel sad and defeated. So how are you? Where are you feeling with all this?
I think that you really encapsulated. I love, someone posted the other day on social media, I'm just going to throw some candy at kids, put up some bake a turkey, put up some Christmas decorations, and call 2020 over. I was like,
it's true.
Because I think the biggest thing for all of us is the unknown, right? So, and the other side of it is that people are getting caught up in mask, no mask, it's real, it's not real. So there's this ping pong back and forth, right? And you're absolutely right. I feel like I should watch the news because I should know what's happening in the world. And then I watch the news and I'm like, right? So it's just like, it's overwhelming. It's exhausting. It's sad. Like you said, it's scary. I don't really look at it as being afraid, but at the same time, it does impact how you see people as you go out in the world, right? So for me, I was sort of looking at July 1st being the first day of the second half of the year, and that it can't be any worse than the first half of the year. Like you, we had so many things that we had planned. We were going to Europe. I do this amazing MS ride from Boston to the Cape. That was last weekend. I'm getting pop-ups of last year. I've done it this would have been my 5th year training for that, being with my friends there. So it's the acceptance of And I love this. So Dr. Lou Lisansi, who I adore, was actually on Oscar's broadcast the other day as a special guest. I don't think he's been seen in the industry for over 10 years, but his information was still the same. And he said, and I've always quoted him, what is. Like, that's one of my favorite Dr. Lou quotes. So the acceptance of being in that present moment, right? And not pining for what didn't happen or thinking about what might happen. And that on Monday, like after his talk on Monday, I was like, I had the best day. Like, I stayed on track and focused and goals. And then yesterday morning, I woke up with anxiety and just kind of that heavy feeling and pushing myself to get in my chair and, do my work and reach out to people. And so I think that I don't have any answers except that when this all happened, which some of you already know because you came to our event that we had with Annie, with Anne Mincy-Jeton, which is called Destination Rejuvenation, and we did it via Zoom, is that for the first 7 months of us launching our new company in June of last year, we were in an RV and we were living a wonderful, exciting life, spending all of our time with other people, amazing other people. But it was like, I wasn't reading, I wasn't journaling, I wasn't cycling, I wasn't doing yoga. I wasn't doing the things that I knew kept me stabilized and grounded, right? So when this all happened and we were grounded in March, I started to do those things again. So I was telling Elaine before we started that I just have like this stack of books here that I had already in my library. So you probably all have some book that you started or some inspiration, right? So, and it's amazing because you can go back and you can read something again. And because of where you're at in your life right now, it's going to have a completely different application. Yeah. Watching Dr. Lou on Monday, I was like cheering and, so what I want to say about that is the energy that we bring is also what we get back. And so we really want to manage that, as difficult as it is. And if you're just having a like awful day or you're feeling down, find that gratitude, read a chapter in a book that is going to help you get back into that space, set goals, something to achieve, create that path. Because if we just hope that things will get better and we want our future to be different, it's not enough. You need to say, okay, what action plans? I was reading in, this morning, I was reading in John C. Maxwell's 15 Laws. I keep getting the camera angle wrong, of Invaluable Laws of Growth. He said that action creates traction. And I was like that, you can't just sit around and wait for things to get better. And we can't have that known, right? We can't know what the future is going to bring, but you can be guaranteed that it's not going to be stabilizing if you allow yourself to give in to the fear. So all of those things keep me on track. And I have good days and I have bad days. And I prefer the good ones.
Do you remember the feeling when you were in high school, when it was the night before a big test that you were totally unprepared for, and you had that unsettled butterfly feeling of angst, and you're like, how can I get out of this? Rather than dig in and do the work, you're like, how can I get out of this? Like, can my mom call me in sick? Can I fake this? Can I just cheat my way through or make shit up just to get by? The last 3 days in a row, I wake up with the night before the test feeling, and I can't put my finger on what is making me feel that way. And I think it's because I'm such a control freak. And it's been since March that I have zero control over my day, my schedule, my life. Like, there's nothing I can do about certain things. And I was okay with it up until today. Like, it's like I've hit the wall and I'm like, I'm not okay anymore. Like, I literally feel like I'm 85. Like my aunt used to be like, wanted dinner at 3:00 because she's so stinking bored that it's like dinner kept getting an hour earlier. And that's how we are now. We're like, is it time to eat breakfast? Is it time to eat lunch? Is it time to eat dinner? Because that's all there is. I'm not a big TV person. I can't just sit in front of the TV. So I feel like I'm on the computer, and so I'm going to go blind. Like I started pulling out my blue light glasses, trying to limit some of the negative blue light energy on there. But my husband's like, get up and move. You're going to have blood clots in your legs, because I keep diving into projects to distract me from what time it is. Because it's like, oh, another day, time to eat dinner, time to clean it up.
Oh yeah, you need to get outside.
But it's so hot. It's like too hot for the beach, too hot to swim. Did you ever have it so hot that you can't even be outside?
Yeah, Palm Springs.
So that's,
it's like,
well, you know what that feels like. So when I took my little doll head for her picture, I'm like, my makeup's melting down my face, my hair's, and I'm just like, back inside, back in the air conditioning. So I do get out and I go for my walk, and I look forward to your yoga on Friday mornings. I had to miss this past Friday. I did something. I don't know if it's the thread the needle move that we do where you like lean on the shoulder, but this arm, something is up with. So I haven't wanted to do too much with that, but I'm just gonna have to modify it because I have to keep doing it. It does make me feel good to do that.
Yeah.
So Mary has been doing free yoga on Friday.
That's this. And I have that too. Right. So really just like, putting those shoulder blades together in the back. And so one of the things that I started to do, because I hadn't been practicing. So I teach yoga. I became a certified teacher of yoga about 3 years ago. I think it's 3 years ago. And because I would share my practice when Annie and I would do our retreats. And so when I became certified, it's still just not my natural. Like I will get on my bicycle, or I will go for a walk, and I like to listen to music. Or if I'm in the gym, I'm like also listening to music while I'm playing a game on my phone, so I'm doing 3 different things at one time. So yoga is that slowing down, being in your body and moving your body with the breath. And so, yes, every Friday morning. So if you follow me, friend me on Facebook, or join our Wilson Collective Pros Only, I post on all of our pages. And then once you get the invitation, it's the same. So we do it on Zoom every Friday morning at 6:30 Pacific. And whoever can show up, it keeps me doing my practice. It gets me on the mat, and I'm like, and I need to do that more than one time a week, but sometimes it's just that one time a week. So that's another example of accountability. So if Elaine, if you say, I want to be accountable to doing this every day, then tell somebody this is what I want to do every day, or tell your husband, please remind me I needed to set up an appointment for a mammogram. And so I kept waking up every morning going, I got to find that sheet of paper in in my files that I have to sort through. We've all been there. That was a referral from January. And so I said to my husband, please be my accountability partner, that I make that happen. And so yesterday I have, and it's my computer's sitting on it, but I have this stackable tray that has these huge bins. I threw away an entire garbage bag full of paper, and I never found it. And I was like, okay. So I sit at my desk, and I have this cute little, this was what I traveled with. This is my little office when we were on the road in the RV. Literally, this is everything. There's a stapler, there's a few little things in here. And so I reach in here and I pull out the document I was looking for.
Did you make your appointment?
I did. I made my appointment, and I thought, if I wouldn't have had to look for that, I wouldn't have cleaned out all those trays of paper. I wouldn't have. And now when I look at those, I feel accomplished. That I went.
That's the best part of this time is getting organized and cleaning out. But it's hard to get motivated to do all those things when you're feeling like you're doing something you don't want to do, even when you have the time to do it. But it feels so good when we moved. So talk about cleansing. That is the best feeling. You start getting attached to those little art projects from when the kids were little. And my husband and I, we flipped roles. Like when we were cleaning out the projects, we had a big plastic bin of all their little turkey things with their handprint and stuff. And he got more, he's Mr. Throwout, and I'm like the pack rat. So I would pick something up, and he'd be like, oh, you can't, how can you? And I'm like, take a picture of it. Like, I don't want to not remember it, but we don't need the turkey handprint. Yeah. And then he would say, he would get emotional and go, but God forbid, what if something happens to the kids? I'm like, do you think we're going to post the turkey handprint at their funeral on the picture board? Like the turkey handprint's not coming. But it was so emotional letting go of the stuff, because the stuff represents, like, it's all in your head, but it's like, It's
Yeah.
almost like you're really admitting that they're no longer
Yeah.
children and that they're little adults now. So it was very emotional, but so nice to come into a house that
Yeah.
doesn't have a basement full of
Uh-huh.
crap.
Yeah.
You
So
hold
what
on to it way longer than you should.
we just have one son, but well, actually two, because my husband has an older son, Ross, and so what we did is we made one tub for them, and we put their name on it, and we just have it in storage. And that's got some of that stuff. And then someday he can decide if he wants it or not. But
Right.
I don't have attachment. I don't have attachment to it because I still have him. So
Well, we left everything with my mom. Like when I think about when I got married, all that high school stuff that we felt so attached to,
yeah.
my poor mom still has it in her
For
basement.
sure.
We're never going back to it. Like it's
And she lives
crazy
in
how
the
you
same
hold on
house.
to that.
She probably lives in the same house,
Oh
right?
no, she moved and brought it with her because she
Wow.
felt bad and is waiting for us to come get it. We're never coming to get it. So we're gonna have to clean it out eventually.
Send your
But
mom a link to watch this so she knows.
well, talk about hoarders. My dad's officially like could be on that show, Hoarders.
Wow.
He has entire garages in buildings that he owns filled with stuff that he now has dementia. So he doesn't even know he has it. But if you tell him you're cleaning it out, he'll go insane. Like he needs to know that he has it. It's a crazy. He grew up pretty poor, and I think it's
It's
the
an
feeling
illness.
of not enough. It definitely is like you're
Definitely.
attached to the wrong things.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. No, that's my husband. He never wanted to get rid of old t-shirts. And I'm like, if you're going to get a new one, you should probably get rid of it. I mean, we live in we have a home that we own in Palm Springs that we vacation rent. So we do not have anything in the closets or cupboards. And of course, we were living there at the early part of COVID. And so we literally had to move out when we could start renting it again. So we have like a dresser with 2 drawers. We each have a drawer. We have a small closet. So we've really trimmed down our stuff. And I think that's something that is really, really valuable. If you look behind me, you'll see that I've got like this cute little shelf. I've got some of my favorite things and put these things on the wall. And so this is my desk where I'm at. So I just put these things up a few weeks ago because I hadn't really moved in here, and so I think that that's important too. So enough about you and me, because we have to deal with managing our lives working from home. So let's talk a little bit about, what's happening in the salon industry. And so if anyone wants to drop in the chat and ask any questions, or like you said, most people are probably maybe going to watch this later, but what I've been hearing is that, and what I'm seeing is that most people who are finally able to get back into the salon are now working 12 and 14-hour days, maybe 7 days a week, or they certainly were when they first came back into the salon. They're still dealing with clients that are either super excited and couldn't wait for them to get back in the salon, or they're dealing with clients that are still nervous, anxious, afraid. And so I think it's really important that as stylists who are wanting to provide that incredible service is that you really manage your energy on a daily basis. So, maybe they do wake up, jump out of bed, and, they can't wait to get to the salon. But if you start feeling yourself feeling heavy or having that energy, really taking that breath and cleansing between clients and showing up and really being present for your clients and doing things for yourself at home, like reading and journaling and keeping your goals, focusing on those goals, whether it's to, whatever it might be that you would like to financially achieve, and or getting, maybe you have some debt, recovering from that debt from the time that you were shut down. What does that look like, and how can you reach your goals in that way? So for us, we were really grateful. Elaine, I go all the way back to being up in Washington the first time that you had me on to talk about Wilson Collective and why Philip and I did what we did as entrepreneurs to bring a new brand to the market. It is really a scary thing, to say, oh, we're, it's David and Goliath. We're like the little tiny little brand but And we believe that, we had a voice, we had something to offer that was different, with the Sacha Inchi oil from Peru and the essential oil fragrancing and the incredible background in education and passion that my husband, Philip, brings to the table, and all the people that have followed him this many, many years of making something happen. And we've been able to do that. And we're grateful to you for the introduction to your inner circle. You've really surrounded yourself, you've attracted, in the years that you've been developing your business, amazing people. And, many of them have come on board with us, now retailing Wilson Collective, and gotten, as you said, on board with the education, come to the retreat with Annie and I, come to the introduction to the Wilson method. So because that was so successful, we did decide to keep doing that once a month. So now, as new people come on board, if they purchase, so we made a smaller opportunity for independent stylists as well, so that if they want to carry just a couple of products in the salon and be able to retail online with Salon Interactive, then you could also get the entree, add the combs and brushes, and get the entree to our classes. So what we're trying to, every month we'll do one of our introduction to the Wilson method, which is understanding, working with the combs and brushes, how to use them, how to increase your speed and efficiency while cutting hair, and also just creating that excitement for the client as well. So what that does is it allows you to have the client see what you're doing and think, well, I can't go anywhere else. I couldn't get this from someone else. So there's both the business side of it, and also just the technical, that working with the Wilson method, you can actually work faster. So, and then we're also doing some advanced classes. So we did an advanced shag, which many of you attended that. And then in July, we're doing an advanced class. For those who've already taken the Wilson method, you might be interested in learning to cut the firefly. So we had several people say, what is the firefly? It looks like a difficult haircut. So Philip will break down that firefly. So July, I'm kind of, for you, I know what you're saying, Elaine. It's like, it's July. So I think July is going to go fast. I don't know, maybe because we have things that we're promoting in July, and then another event, possibly another big event in August. So you're counting down to those days when so maybe you should set, you do have a big event that you're working on. So
it's so funny because when you said Dr. Lou, I kind of got I got to get Mary to get Dr. Lou for our October event.
No, I thought about it.
Mary and Philip and I got together and we're chatting about how in our industry, there's so many awesome educators that have been so busy doing what they do that they don't have the time or the technical skills to really go all in on social media. And I think it's a crime that the new generation of stylists don't know who Dr. Lou is. Yeah. They don't know who Michael Cole is. They may not know who Robert Cromines and Wynn Claybaugh and Beth Minardi and Philip and Nick French and Sue Pemberton. Like, these are all really awesome educators who in their prime left people in awe when they walked off of a stage, when hair shows were about the hair and it wasn't a ginormous flea market of rhinestone, I heart hair pins and feather earrings, So we're working on a project for October where we're bringing back all of those classic educators that people may not know of that are still amazing. They educate from passion, not ego. Right. And it's about the education, not the influence and the number of followers.
Right.
But Mary talked about destination rejuvenation, and some of you, I don't know why you would possibly pass up that opportunity. Some of you probably didn't understand what it was, or you just didn't, the date didn't work or whatever. But it was, for me, you made me survive a birthday in quarantine. I was having such a pity party, and it happened to land on my birthday. So I reached out to my friends, and they're like, oh, we can't see you for your birthday. I'm like, you know what? Yes, you can. Come to this event. Yeah. It's going to be good for you. I'll get to see you. We all could see each other on the Zoom screen, which was amazing. And of course, the in-person event is always going to be near and dear to my heart. But I reached out to Mary afterwards and said, wow, I cannot believe how well that went being virtual.
Yeah.
So I think we've all gotten a little better
Yeah.
at technology and making it feel as if we're both in the same room
Right.
together.
Yeah. Agreed.
So
Yeah.
yeah, there's so many things that we can continue to do virtually rather than feel like we're completely alone navigating the storm,
Yeah.
and not having support. So we have a couple comments.
Yeah.
Suzanne did fill.
Oh, hi, Suzanne. And she's a new Wilson Collective
Oh,
salon.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I've been back 8 weeks now, but have found that I really need to take my time back to care for me as well as my clients.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then she said, amazed at how grumpy people have been when you don't have openings, need to honor. Yes, my daughter is going through that now. She had to get, I think it was something like 500 and some appointments scheduled, and she made all the calls herself.
Uh-huh.
She's not a hairdresser.
Right.
So she's like, it's amazing how nasty people have been about it. Like you're doing your best. There's only, the guidelines are saying 50% capacity, only one sink, this much distance between the chairs, have the client sit in your car. There's a lot of things that are prohibiting
Yeah.
being jam packed. And we always spread out appointments and everything. So thank God we weren't as in deep shit as the people that triple and double book. We always give a full hour, but they're still like, get me in already, and they want you to stay until midnight until everybody's happy. So it's just,
Yeah. And
great.
I think that to Suzanne's point, first and foremost, protect yourself. It's you can't bow down to every person who's like, why can't you take me at the end of the day? Or, it's your real, it's kind of like the saying, your real friends are the ones that will support you no matter what. And I feel like clients are kind of that way too. And maybe that person would mess up your attitude so much that day that it's not worth it, right? It's like, if people are going to get that upset, that's probably the state that they're living in right now. And do you want to be around that? That those are the choices we can make. We can make those choices for ourselves to manage our own energy. And I think Suzanne, she's doing a good job with how she's scheduling herself. Like I said, I had a message the other day from a dear friend who said Sunday was her first day off and she'd worked 21 days straight.
That's crazy.
Reopening. And I think what's happening too for some people is they're like, I better jam it all in now in case there is another closure. So is that legitimate? It's possible, but honestly, I don't think it's going to happen. I think they'll keep restricting things, but I don't think they'll close down a place where you have a one-on-one relationship. It's not a group, it's not a bar, it's not a club, it's not a restaurant.
Right.
So, hopefully salons have proven that they are an amazing sanitary location, so hopefully.
What's happening though that I predicted, and unfortunately I was right about. And I've been there when I had my kids and I was out on maternity and panicking about clients leaving and how am I going to get them all in, and so many regrets on that front. We're not even going to go there, but with that fear of, oh my gosh, the overwhelm of getting everyone in, to your point about the 21 days straight, there's a lot of that going on. But in my group, in my membership, we had our monthly meeting and I was like, guys, you are doing yourself and your client a huge disservice jamming them in times that you don't normally work, because here's what happens. Every 4 weeks from that day 21 that you wouldn't normally have worked, that client is going to be due for her root retouch. And she's going to wonder why you can't get her in then. So you're creating this hamster wheel you're never getting off of. So it's like pay now or pay later. Really say no to what's coming in the future, because you're not going to be able to accommodate them. So what's happening now, yesterday's posts and theme, there's always a theme of the week on Facebook groups. Now it's like, where'd everybody go? They're 3 weeks in.
The lull has started.
And they're like, why is it so quiet? I'm like, hello, you did March to July's people in 21 days. You're worn out. And now nobody's due to come back again. You just made up for all those months and you're completely exhausted, and you set that pattern where you're going to be slow every couple weeks from that date. So,
and we also have to know that many people are unemployed. And so, there's going to be the people who cannot afford to come as often as they were coming. I think too, though, that the other part of that, hopefully in that lull, there will be the people who were afraid to come right away. And now they're like, okay, I'm ready to go out. Because I definitely have had people tell me that they have clients who said, I'm not ready yet. I'll come at the end of July. So
Right.
they're sort of pacing themselves, which maybe like you're saying right now, that's okay. That's okay. But so, yeah. So, Haley Gregory, I know she's part of is she part of Elaine? She's part of your team, right? So I loved, when I got a chance to talk with her as she reopened, and she said, she spent so much of her time kind of working with clients on sharing all the things she did educationally while she was off. And I thought that was so amazing. So she's like,
Right.
She redirected the conversation from talking about, which is really sort of what people probably want to talk about, is how they feel about COVID and how they feel about the election. And you're just like, oh, I don't want to do. So she said, what she did was she got the conversation right into talking about their hair and talking about, what she did to create safety practices. I think we have to still be talking about that. Especially if you do have those clients who seem still nervous about going out, salons are one of the cleanest, safest places that anyone could go. And so keep focusing on the safety part as well. But I love that she said that she's really like, she has it all kind of the excitement laid out of, this is what I learned while I was unable to work, and how she's bringing that to her clients. So I wanted to kind of give a little shout out to Haley, because I think
she's everywhere. She's so funny. Anywhere I am, she's commenting and watching, and she has such a great passion for what she does. I wish every hairstylist was like that.
Yeah.
But it's true. We can have that power behind the chair to redirect the conversation at any time. I did a book club that was so fun. We just did our first session.
You started it?
Yeah, I started it. And I think people that signed up, of course, are thinking, okay, we're going to talk about hair color the entire time. But what we do is so much more than color and cut, more so than even the color and cut.
Yeah.
And I was explaining the villain, victim, hero thing, how like everybody has a role, and the energy that clients are bringing into the salon right now, we have no control over, but we have control over how we respond.
Exactly.
So if they come in with the and you go, oh my God, and you get it going, then it's this big ball of negativity, and it just snowballs through the salon, and all of a sudden everybody's popping Advil, they have a headache, and everybody's grumpy. And it's like, you could just as easily, to Harry's point, just be like, you know what? This really stinks, this whole situation, but I had so much fun in this class that I did with this guy, Philip. He has this awesome accent, these cool brushes. And it was, let me show you how it works. And the brushes come together, and I cut between the brushes, like just distracting and diverting their attention to something other than sitting in the crap of COVID.
Right. Because
it's so easy to go down that road.
Yes. And I'm part of the beauty business reset, and that was a big conversation Monday night. And some people are like, well, you don't, you have to listen to your client. It's like, we're not saying you shouldn't listen to him. So one of the examples that I always use is the difference between empathy and sympathy, right? So empathy is, I understand and I can feel how that makes you feel, and sympathy is you jump in there with them. So it's like, do you want to sit by the side of the pool and throw them a rope to get them out? Or are you going to jump in the water and drown with them?
I love that. Mic drop. I love that. It's so true.
Yeah. And really being able to, and I think having good boundaries is understanding the difference, because some people are like, well, what's the difference? And I said, if you don't understand the difference, you should definitely learn more about the difference, because it means that you aren't able to separate that. You aren't able to protect your own energy in that way. Yeah.
So true.
You can't be helpful if you're being sympathetic. You're just kind of jumping in with them. Right. Yeah.
So good. Yeah. Because it just, it's with gossip, like I remember thinking when I went to Catholic school, so they talked about how gossip was a sin. And don't talk about anybody else, and blah, blah, blah. And I would think, in high school, I would think, what the hell are we going to talk about? That's what we do in high school is talk about other people. But now as an over 50-year-old woman, I never talk about anybody because it
Right.
really is none of my business. Like I
Right.
have such a different feeling towards gossip and it glares at me now that
Yeah.
I'm this age. And I'm like, God, I almost wish that we
Mhm.
could live life a little backwards and
Mhm.
know now back then, like live
Yeah.
differently in our high school years. It would be such a different experience.
Uh-huh.
There
Yeah.
wouldn't be bullying. There wouldn't be the cool, mean girls,
Right.
making all the nerdy girls feel bad about themselves. Like everybody would
Yeah.
be so different. And speaking of meditation and yoga, did you see that some schools are finally adapting and doing like quiet mindfulness instead of
Yeah.
detention? I
Uh-huh.
love that
Yeah.
because
And
the person
well,
acting out doesn't want to be a creep.
and
They
elementary
just have
school
something
kids
going
are
on.
learning these practices. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love seeing that.
it's
Yeah.
about time.
Yeah, and I have to say, so my son's 23, and when he was in high school, he went to a public high school. So I'm like you, I was raised Catholic. I went to a small school and, kind of had this predisposed feeling that you were safer or it was better and he went to a school where there were all different kinds of kids, all different colors, all different races, I drove up to his high school to pick him up one day. A boy was kissing his boyfriend goodbye by the car, and there was 100% acceptance to all people. And so what a difference a generation makes. So I guess what I'm saying is that I'm hopeful that each generation gets more accepting and more understanding. And look at when we were children, who couldn't marry and who didn't have rights. And so even though sometimes it feels like day to day we might be going backwards, overall we've come a long way in our 50 plus years.
Yeah, I agree for sure. And same thing with my kids. I remember going in to pick Jack up from preschool,
Mhm.
and one of the teachers that had Jack, but also had Bryn years earlier,
Yeah.
took the time to pull me aside, and she said, I didn't really get to know you very well because I was that mom, always stop, drop, and roll, running to the salon and
Working.
late picking up and all that, working like crazy. But she said, I know that you went to Catholic school, and everybody that goes to Catholic school usually automatically sends their kids to Catholic school.
Mhm.
And she said, I'm going to give you my opinion. It's unsolicited, but I want to just share with you what I see in your daughter. And she was like, she is such an amazing little girl. I mean, she was a tiny kid. It was a preschool. But she said she has this spirit that really stands out. Like she's a
Mhm.
little mini kindergarten leader and, take charge kind of thing. And she's like, kids like her, which was me, she's the mini me.
Mhm.
She's like, unfortunately, Catholic school tends to
Mhm.
put that fire out. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's why I felt so unsettled all the time. Because I always felt like it was so much about the structure and the rules that there was no room to be who you were. It
No.
was like, wear the uniform. Everybody looks alike. Everybody does everything the same.
And
And
everything
I absolutely would have done because my mom didn't talk to me for 2 weeks when I put my kids in public school. But to your point, the difference was when they were in that little private preschool, they had every nationality, every race. And
Mhm.
when Jack would talk about his friend Hunter, I thought, oh, wow, that's such a cool name, Hunter. Like, I'm thinking, what does Hunter look like? And I would ask Jack to describe him.
Uh-huh.
And he would say, like, oh, he wears a blue shirt. Like, he would say anything but that he was brown and Jack was white, and
Yeah,
never ever made that
awesome.
separation or anything. And I was like, okay, definitely want to continue with this
Uh-huh.
because where I went to school, everybody looked the same. Everybody came from the same type of to the point where our grade schools were by nationality. Imagine doing that today. It was like St.
Really?
Mary's was German,
Wow,
St.
okay.
Joseph's was
Sure,
Polish,
sure.
St. Lucy's was
Oh, you know
Italian.
what? That was ours, now that I think about it,
That's
because Paris
crazy.
was created, yeah, St. Ludmil's was the Czech. Yeah. No, you're right, we had that too. Yeah, I guess I
Crazy.
didn't think about it, but yeah, and a lot of guilt associated with being
Oh, so
Catholic.
much guilt.
That my friend and I were talking about that last night because she was raised Catholic and I was raised Catholic. It's like, the guilt, that's another thing, just like, stop. No, stop. Be in the present moment. Move on. Don't need to feel guilty. Yeah.
100%. And that was my argument with my mom when she was so upset about the Catholic school thing. I said, Mom, I want to raise kids that know the difference between right and wrong and that do the right thing when nobody's looking.
Mhm, mhm.
You know, like you said, the false sense of, I talk to people who, you know, send their kids to the local private Catholic school and they're like, I just want them to have good morals. I want them to be taught right from wrong. I'm like, that starts here. That's at
Uh-huh,
home.
uh-huh,
That's not
yeah,
Sister Mary,
uh-huh,
you know, with
yeah,
her habit on.
uh-huh,
That's you as a parent. And if you're depending
for
on the
sure.
school to teach them that, we're all in trouble.
For sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good point. And then the other part of it too, though, I do remember my mom saying, and we were talking about this the other day because it's also in that 15 habits of invaluable laws of growth. It was basically a chapter on environment. And what they said is that you are the sum of the 5 people that you hang out with, right? And my mom would say
100%.
that. And I had a friend who got pregnant at 14 and she had a really rough family. And my mom's like, that. And I'm like, Mom, I'm not going to become her because that's how she is. And I didn't. However, I saw very early on that if I wanted to be more, I needed to have role models and I needed to have people that I looked up to and people that I wanted to be more like. And so we all need that.
Are you doing Tina's Mastermind with that book, with the
Yeah,
John Maxwell?
I am. Yeah, we're in our 3rd week on that.
Yeah, I wanted to do that, but time got away from me. And I was like, oh, crap. I hope she does it again because
Yeah.
I love how she just fires off all the Maxwell isms when you're talking to her. It's like
Uh-huh.
part of her vocabulary is so
Yeah.
natural with it.
Yeah. It's
But
awesome.
really great
Yeah,
concepts in
it's
that book.
awesome, and I'm really enjoying it. I tend to, like I said, read and journal, so this is a little bit different. So basically, we do 2 chapters a week, and then they put up a few slides, and there's 4 different moderators, and they each take turns every week, like who's going to talk about which chapters, and people get a chance to share. And yeah, so it's been great. Yeah,
Do you mind holding that up again? Stacy just asked
sure.
name of the book.
I'm not good with the camera. See, okay.
15 Invaluable Laws of Growth from John Maxwell.
John Maxwell, and he has a ton
Ton
of
of books.
ton. So it's all, he does numbers. So everything is, laws of this, laws of that. So you could, whatever you really feel like you want to be working on right now. What I also love about these books is that it has how to put this into practice, right? So there's like, here's the questions you need to ask yourself. And then at the end of chapters, it basically says applying the law of, right? So this is the, I keep getting the camera wrong.
Now,
Applying.
have you read other books of his? Like, would you start with that if you haven't been
You
exposed
know
to
what?
John Maxwell?
I had never been exposed to John Maxwell. So I
Okay.
have not read any of his. So I think that I think that he has a similar style and flow. So that's why I'm saying what I would do is I would just search him as an author. So because he references other books that he's written in here. So he's like, as I talk about in the laws of spiritual growth, because he is a former he is a minister and a speaker, and a writer. So he has written many. So I would say what really pulls to you for something that you want to work on right now. And doing 2 chapters a week is pretty reasonable. So you just read a chapter's about maybe 10 or 12 pages. But I was thinking maybe, Elaine, after you finish with your book, maybe we do one together. Maybe we pick
Yeah.
a book that we would.
I would love to do that. I'm loving this book club thing because I've never, as a busy mom and salon owner, I never had time to go to girlfriend book clubs, that other people enjoyed with
Yeah.
just fiction
Uh-huh.
novels. So it's
Yeah.
nice to get together with people and do that. So I would definitely do that.
Yeah. So
I've
maybe.
read so many awesome business books that we could dig into, and I know you have too.
Yeah. Yeah. That
So,
really,
yeah.
I mean, there's so many. And so about 10 years ago, so I was in a book club and it was a wine club, really, so we would read fiction, just like you were saying. And then 4 of us decided we wanted to create our own spiritual book club. And so that's
Nice.
where, and we'd all research and come to the table and say, okay, what do we want to read next? And we would meet, I think we met every other week. So we tried to meet more often than once a month. And, again, we'd pick books that had exercises attached to them, meditations, journaling, things that we could really have as a practice. And so I think that would be really, really cool. And I think, like we were talking about, more than ever, we all need that right now. We need the connection. We need the accountability. We know that this stuff works. And so, dive in and be part of that for sure. Yeah.
100%. And do you want to talk about possibly doing another DR? Is that somewhere that I'm going to push you in that direction?
Sure. We'd have to get Andy on board. So one of the events, so the July events that we have are the Firefly is on Sunday the 19th, and the Introduction to the Wilson Method is on Monday the 20th. Anyone who has already been part of this before is invited. So if you've been before, you're invited. You have your combs and brushes. You're all set, and you know how to reach me. If you have not been before, you can go onto our website, and both of those classes are there. They're very reasonable. It's $50 for the advanced class. It's $75 for the introduction because it's a longer class, and you get the combs and brushes unless you, again, already have them. And then if you already have them, then, we would love to have you come for free. So anyone that's come on board in the last 30 days is also invited. Excuse me, my phone's ringing. If you came on board in the last 45 days, you're actually already on the list and you'll be invited to the upcoming classes. And I'm actually sending out information today. So those are our July classes. And then in August, we are starting a program. So Anne again, and Philip and I. So this is actually really cool because Annie and I mentioned this when we did Destination Rejuvenation, we have very different presentation styles. So for those of you that joined us, I'm kind of more like matter of fact and, rah, rah, rah and energy. And then Annie is more raising and lowering her voice and a much more peaceful and an amazing storyteller. And then, so we started doing this program called I Am a Great Presenter, which celebrates what you already have in your tool bag. Basically, it is creating and cultivating out of you with the skills needed to understand how to present added to who you already are, and cultivating what your message is, helping you cultivate whatever your message is. And so a lot of people said, we'd love if you would start doing this because we see that you're both great presenters and we would like to learn from you. So Anne and I started doing this, and Philip was working for another company at the time, and he could not be part of it. So now, since we haven't done an I Am a Great Presenter since we started our own company, and so now we get to have Philip be, part of that too. So what Philip brings to the table is stage presenter. Again, he's an amazing storyteller. When he tells a story, you're right there with him, live front and center. And then we just talk about everything from how to create an opening to how to hold a product, the right way to hold a product. I'll show you. This is the wrong way to hold a product, right? I got to find the point. This is the wrong way to hold the product. This is the wrong way to hold the product. It's some stuff is
the little things. Yeah.
Right. How you showcase it. Right. So this, again, I don't know why I'm so bad with the camera today. This is the right way to hold a product.
I love that packaging.
Holding it still. Thank you. Yes. I gotta get this right. That's very funny. Okay. So simple little things like that. And then also just like what kind of words to use and how do you want to put your best self forward. So in the past, we did this in Palm Springs at our home. So we usually do a pretty small group. You get some personal coaching as well. And what we're going to be sharing some testimonials over the next few days and weeks too, from people who have been through the program, because sometimes that can be intimidating, right? It's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to be with other people and they're going to ask me to present. And those will be done in like small groups with incredible encouragement. The thing is to learn is to do, right? So if you just sit and watch somebody do something and you say, oh, I could do that, it's not the same as getting yourself, like Elaine and I were talking about, getting used to being in front of the camera. At first when we started doing this too, I would be like, oh, how, I'm not comfortable. And then you just get to the point where you do it enough times that you're more comfortable. So we always say, and when we're doing presentations too, is it's really super simple. You need to prepare and you need to practice. Prepare, practice, prepare, and practice. And then let the creative side come in to support you with the information that you have. So I Am a Great Presenter is going to start in August. So we've got dates in August. We've got 3 dates in August with a break in the middle where you get some private coaching from one of the 3 of us. So we'll assign people to the person that they feel most connected to or want to work with. And there will be an opportunity to share, and it will build a really strong sense. It does on in person, and I feel like it will over Zoom as well. We are interested, though, in some additional feedback. We're planning on August, but we might push it a little bit further into the fall if, again, people are super busy and all they're doing is taking clients, 6 days a week or 7 days a week. We want to have a nice group of at least 6 to 10 people that are part of it. So, and the price on that for members, so if you're already part of Wilson Collective, is only $75 for the entire course, and it's $125 for non-members. So you can see all of this information on our Wilson Collective Pros Only pages, where we share techniques, education, upcoming dates and events, things that are happening. And then also, if you're not already, to join us as a Wilson Collective member. So because we sell direct, we qualify all of our salons through our website, which is wilsonhaircollective.com. You complete a series of questions that tell us about your business. It allows us to be able to be sure that you are truly a professional. Once you are qualified in that, then you'll also get updates and information from us, and that qualifies you for that special member introductory packages and free education, and then also the opportunity to get reduced education and tools. So, and we have amazing shears, incredible cutting tools, new specialty shears that we're just launching. So we've got some pretty cool things that are happening, that are coming up, and we're excited to have you be part of that.
I love that you're direct to the stylist, to the salon owner, because that was part of my rant this morning.
Yeah.
The price of salon retail has gotten so crazy because there's so many mouths that need to be fed, from production to finished product, and so many are unnecessary. I'm not for taking people's jobs away, but there's other things they could be doing. It's not necessary to have that order taker show up at your salon and interrupt your day. Yeah. So I love that it's owned by both of you that are in the industry. You understand what we go through as stylists. You're not some suit in a boardroom that doesn't really even get what it is that we do. And I love that everything that you've offered has been so beyond affordable. I don't think these people get what it used to cost to go see Philip do his thing, So you're keeping it so generously affordable for people that it would be crazy not to take these classes. I love the Firefly. I learned that at Vidal Sassoon, and that's to this day my mom's favorite haircut. It's kind of like the modern day Dorothy Hamill, very swingy and just easy to do. So I might have to dust off the shears and show up for that Firefly class.
You are welcome.
Push myself out of my comfort zone.
And the cool thing about Philip's Firefly, and he's thinking about taking it into the Pixie too. So he may do the Firefly and then into the Pixie. But the thing about Philip is that he uses the Wilson method. So for parts of it, and then more traditional for other parts of it. So it's a little bit different, kind of a more modern twist on it too. So yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's really important that we have fun, that we're inspired, and you're so right, Elaine. I mean, if there was ever a time, I was reading a report yesterday about how devastating all of this is to small businesses, and that all of us are warriors. We are independent businesses, that we are the same. We have the same challenges that you do as a small business. And one of the commitments that I made post-COVID was I wasn't going to shop at the big box stores, and I was going to support small businesses. And I think that we, as small business owners, want to keep rallying, and keep that rally cry going too, because we need it. We need to support each other. We need to turn our backs, if you will, to big business. because they don't need us, they don't need us, but we need each other. And we are so grateful for the new friends that we've met through you. We're so grateful for the support that we have received. And like you said, I mean, we're just sitting here at our home, talking with friends, and we get it. I definitely have a huge empathy for what you're going through on a day-to-day basis, and really just keeping that inspiration and attitude at the highest level that you can, because only you, that's all you can control. That what you control is yourself, and we have to sometimes keep reminding ourselves of that.
100%. Another book that I read that sticks with me, and it really helped my son a lot. He's a snoozer. He hits the snooze on his phone all the time, his alarm. And Mel Robbins, have you read her 5-second rule?
No.
So she's, I don't even know what you would call her, I guess a speaker type thing. And she talks about the 5-second rule, that you can basically talk yourself in or out of anything in 5 seconds.
Wow.
Because your knee-jerk reaction, like sometimes I'll get up on a Friday and I'm like, do I want to do yoga or do I want to sit in front of and I'm like, no, I'm awake. I'm doing the damn yoga. So I make myself do it. And it's a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Like when you're feeling yourself, talking yourself into a bad habit, you can just as easily just count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just start. So if you start, like if I were to turn on your Zoom and start doing yoga and I'm just really not feeling it, I can always stop, but I never do.
Right.
It's like once you're in it, you're fine. It's just that initial.
It's amazing what we can talk ourselves out of.
Yeah.
It is. And it's amazing that you can do that reset too. I love that.
Yeah. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, this has been amazing. Thank you for coming on here and being such a guiding light through all of this nonsense. I'm excited that you're offering even more value to the inner circle people. I'm going to share this as well on my Expert Color Solutions with them to, invite them into the Wilson Collective and see how passionate you both are about what you do. And I'm really excited about our October event. I need to pick your brain on some other people to get involved. Gino's so great. I called him yesterday and I'm like, listen, Philip already said yes for you. So I'm just saying. And he starts laughing. He's like, of course, Philip and I'll do it together. He's all in. So he's great. I mean, most people are just so happy to be involved. So I'm excited about that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So
me too. I think October is enough time that people will feel settled.
Yes.
Again, too. I think October is a great time. Yeah. Let's make October a great time.
Yes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And if anybody has a book that you want to recommend for our first book club, we'd love to hear from you. I have so many that are popping into my mind that have been life-changing for me. So we'll get together and pick
maybe we can pick something that you and I haven't read.
Yeah.
So it's fresh.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I said, I just keep rereading. I think Philip's done the 7 spiritual laws of success. I think he's on his 4th or 5th time. So he's a slow learner, But Deepak Chopra, I mean, anything. And you can also, if you're not a big reader, you can listen to,
Audible stuff.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, just go to YouTube and search a subject that you're interested in. I need inspiration for this today, and just listen, or, close your eyes and meditate with that while you focus on breathing. But just like we said, shift in the way that helps you feel more in your body and more, in control of the things you can do. Yeah. Yes. Oh, I'm so excited. We're going to do a book study together.
Yeah, it's exciting. So we'll chat about the deets for that. So thank you everyone for listening. If you're catching it on the replay, thanks for catching the replay, and we will see you next week. Have a great day.
Bye. Thank you.